Now let's go to Peggy Grande in America, the former executive assistant, as you know, to the outstanding American President Ronald Reagan. The Trump story still dominates, with many legal experts, though, in disbelief as to what has happened. Now, we have to remember that this prosecutor, Alvin Bragg, ran on a platform of getting Trump, essentially to help defeat Trump when he might run against the head of the Democratic Party in the next presidential election. Just before we get to that, now I've been around a bit, as you know, and I've seen everybody that's known in politics here and internationally. In fact, when I worked for Prime Minister Fraser, we had to go right around the world meeting the American president, the British Prime Minister, the German Chancellor, the French president, to determine a response to the invasion of Afghanistan. Now, I'm saying that only because I've seen everybody, I think, over many years. I find it incomprehensible that this man you're about to hear, now incomprehensible in two fronts, this man in a titular sense, that is, his title is President of the United States, and that's the leader of the free world. I find it incomprehensible that he can be that and is apparently on the brink of announcing that he will run again. Now have a look at this. It's incomprehensible, mumbo jumbo, a bumbling statement, which I think ends with him saying, "Let's go lick the world, let's get it done." I needed to play the tape several times before I could discern that that was what he was saying. This is President Biden in Ireland, when really he should be in an aged care home. Listen to this.
So thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
What? Peggy, I'm sorry, he is your president and our leader of the free world. What an awful indictment of the democratic process, Peggy.
Well, incomprehensible is right, Alan, and what a disaster that Ireland trip was for him, and not only sad but dangerous for the world. You know, here's a man who goes abroad and he is incomprehensible. People can't understand what he's saying. We see it for what it is, and it would be funny if it weren't so sad and really dangerous. You know, his trip to Ireland was a disaster. He keeps saying he's running for president, but he hasn't announced it yet, and then his own White House backs it up, backtracks on it. And so it's really sad that this is what America is stuck with. And we look at what he has done in the past 2 years, and I shudder to think what the next 2 years will look like under this man's leadership.
Just back to, and I'll come to some of that in a moment, just back though to Trump, and one of America's finest lawyers, not a Trump supporter, Alan Dershowitz, has called the arraignment of Trump, quote, an extreme example of, quote, the politicization of the criminal justice system. He described this development in relation to Trump as, quote, very dangerous for America. Peggy, things seem to have gone silent, though there is a trial scheduled, I understand, for October 2. What is the latest?
Well, the timeline, as I understand it, coming up is that by early August, the Trump team has an opportunity to file any motions, and that, I believe, will include the motion to dismiss the case altogether. We're not expecting that that will happen, but the next time he's expected to appear in New York in court is early December. You know, the judge has said that he would like to get this started and, you know, start taking it to trial in January, but the Trump team has said that's impossible because they still haven't received all the documents they need to know what the charges are against the president. And so where does this put us? It puts us either early or spring of 2024, right in the middle of the presidential campaign. This is exactly what they want it to be. They want it to be a distraction. But as we're seeing from the numbers and from the fundraising, as much as they try to make this a detriment to him, it continues to be a benefit.